have we hit peak EDM? Truly.
Sphere is like 360 up, down.
Let me ask you a question. How many tickets did you sell tonight?
Latin music, that's why it's going down.
It's gonna be like, cool, that sounds awesome, right?
You are not a star. The club is the star.
Late night legends. Late night legends. Direct from Vegas. The world famous Club Killers crew.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another edition of Late Night Legends. We got DJ Icon, Exile, and CLA in the building once again. It's good to be back with you guys.
go.
Welcome back. Welcome back.
Excited.
And you know, it was a crazy weekend, I'm sure, for everybody. I actually saw your billboard on the strip, so congratulations on that. It's always good to see. I'm like, I know her.
That's fire.
So what, it's at Jewel, right? I
Jewel.
think it was
Yeah,
Jewel this Friday.
This Friday, yeah.
By the
I
time this
headlined-
podcast comes out, it's not going to be relevant, so it's
Yeah,
okay.
it's not.
But it's cool, right? It's awesome to see that. It's always nice to see a
Thank
billboard
you.
on the strip.
That's cool. When friends are like, "Oh my God, I saw you on the freeway," I go, "Huh?" And then I forget that there's a marquee on the freeway.
Oh, it's a good
And-
one. An LED billboard. It's sharp too.
The one
It's
on
really
15?
good.
Dope.
Yeah.
Fire.
Yeah,
And then
I
I'm
love
like,
seeing the
yeah.
homies on there. That's
or
great.
like friends who stay at Aria for the weekend, and then they put that on the
Elevator and stuff?
no in each room. You know that what is it? The iPad that like.
Oh yeah. Oh,
With
it's like
all
the
what's going on, the events or
tablet,
like
yeah.
restaurant, the tablet.
Yeah,
And
that's
then
cool.
I've gotten friends who would take a picture and send it to me or something. I'm like, whoa.
I don't think there's any
I'm
other
like, I'm
city that has
following
such
you.
cohesive nightclub marketing. I mean, naturally, of course, right? I mean, it's so when the casinos are in sync with, we got Kellen over here. He's the number one promoter in Vegas, right
Hey.
here.
Shout out to
He knows all about it. And
You get in
obviously,
the club, hit him,
and,
hit him up.
I just want to touch on this real quickly too. This is a hot topic, but like how Tao Group is now mandating that you download their application in order to get on a guest list. This is a big deal.
Wait, for real? I found
Nightlife
out.
is changing
Yeah.
fast.
had
So
to-
No more. Whoa, break that down.
yeah,
What?
so it's I'll just paraphrase. We talked about it pretty in depth. Let me know if I'm wrong about something, but what this means is you have to have the application. It's kind of like a Ticketmaster for even a guest list. So now that means that when you talk to Kellen on anywhere, if it's text message or whatever, it's going to actually show on your ticket promoter Kellen. Yep. So if you're going to see Steve Aoki or whatever, it'll say that, hey, this is the guy, so that it's actually tracked easier. So any promoter that's ever done promoting in their life knows how hectic, and sometimes you lose your credit on things. It's very frustrating.
I bet.
So this streamlines the process, especially for very high-level promoters
Fire.
that have good guest lists and things like this. Is really good technology, but you have to have it. So Tao Group is kind of spearheading this in because everywhere else is now behind. Think about this, because like now people get used to having that accountability. And, I have a ticket. I got in for the guest list. I'm good to go. And then, I want to go somewhere else. We don't have, like, what do you mean I got to text somebody that I've never heard of before? And I got to.
I never thought how ancient that is to text somebody.
Yeah. All of a sudden, we're in the future. We're officially in 2025. So
it's funny. We had a group. So he set me up with a group this weekend that used it, and I didn't even know this was a thing, and neither did they. And they were like, "Oh, we got to download the app." But afterwards, they were like, "It was awesome. It was so smooth."
Oh, that's
It
good.
was so smooth.
Oh yeah, and then what? They get rewards. So
Yes.
which is
Rewards?
awesome. Yeah. So I'm
Yo.
thinking like with everything, even with getting a credit card, you get like 5% back. So it's like you spend $200 at the club, at the bar, and then you get $10 off any restaurant that Tao has.
like
Yeah.
Tao Bucks.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
exactly.
But,
But look at us plugging in Tao Group.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Sponsor.
Sponsor.
No, but it
New
really
sponsor.
is. It's smart. I mean, it really is.
Yeah.
And sometimes you have to break a bone to set it correctly,
Yeah.
right? And it's if you get so used to antiquated, it's like the IRS. They're still using 1980s computers. Let's try something new, guys. And it's just like anything. So if you're so used to an old technology and everybody's agreed to use it, it's just like this toxic, cancerous behavior
Yeah.
in a business model. So the minute they just snapped out of it and go, okay, guys, let's all use our iPhones, like
Yeah.
we've been using for everything else. Like our
Yeah.
grocery store has apps. Why doesn't
Yeah.
a club? So it was really great that they did that. So I'm excited to see how this develops over this 2025, club season
Yeah.
and the pools, obviously too. There's a lot of new venues opening up, so I'm excited to see how that works out. But speaking of venues, I went and saw Anima, however you call them.
What? People, please help us.
Yeah, so it's the
I
Afterlife
butchered
guy.
the name.
Yeah, it's so the guy
Anima?
that does the really cool graphics in Tulum.
That's what my
and-
kids call it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, so he obviously has a residency at the Sphere. He is made for the Sphere because he got a name for himself via social media because of his incredible vertical show. It was like a massive LED screen that went vertical instead of sideways. He was the first one to do that, and then his breakdowns with the synthesizers that coordinate directly with a very impactful visual that he kind of owned it. You know, Eric Prydz is another one. But obviously I think Anima's proved himself to be the number one guy in this space because he has a residency at MSG Sphere. And if you aren't familiar with the Sphere, it's a $5 billion building, the only one in the world that does what it can do because it has a 16K internal screen with a 178-degree viewing radius.
It's insane.
Have you guys gone?
I've been in there
yes.
for the postcard from Earth.
Yeah.
Insane visuals.
There's 250,000
Yeah.
speakers.
Go.
Yeah. So, yeah, literally 250,000 speakers. Every seat has a subwoofer.
Every seat, and you feel it.
Like,
Every seat,
Yeah.
it
And
vibrates.
the way the sound is designed,
Yep.
so the speakers are like they're point directional. So a speaker correlates with your seat. So they can actually have a different experience on this side versus a different experience on this side from what you're feeling.
Yes.
So like wind blows on the screen
on the right
and
side.
it starts on this side and it rumbles through this side and you feel it. It's crazy.
I need to go. I've yet to go.
And
so-
and they can
too.
change the sweet spot. On that note, they can do pinpoint sweet spots, but they can also do macro sweet spots. So meaning, like Peggy Gou was the opener for Anima, and so she was everything. They purposely didn't turn the subwoofers on because she's an opener, even though she's super famous. But she was
And
the
John Summers was
support.
an opener, I heard. John
Yes, and
Summers was
Tiesto.
direct support. That's
Tiesto has
insane.
been too.
Tiesto, yeah.
For real?
Yeah. They do these guest shows.
Bro, those support.
That shows you how big this guy is. But he is a headliner only at this venue because of his profound visuals. It's not just the music itself. It is a hand-in-hand show.
Yeah.
The music almost takes second fiddle to the visuals themselves, which is crazy to say, but it truly is the fact. And so when Peggy Gou is playing, they don't have the subwoofers on the speakers or on the seats. So it's just front of house. But all of a sudden when he goes on, the room opens up, it gets louder, wider, and more profound, and your seats obviously turn on. And then there's a point in the show where he wants you to look up, and the audio goes up with it. So all of a sudden, the audio is
Wow.
not coming from the front of house; it's coming from vertical down on you,
That's
raining
amazing.
down. So the technology.
That's a cool experience then, yeah, for sure.
So this leads me to ask you guys. I mean, have we hit peak EDM truly? Because of this production level, you can't. How can you beat this? It's a $5
It
billion
definitely
building.
takes it on another level, right? Because people go to festivals to get these experiences, but what do they get at festivals is like the laser show.
And a lot of
you
dirt.
don't get like the full, like the Sphere is like
It's full saturation.
360 up, down, all around you, and you're like, holy crap, I'm in this sphere of like, I don't know, a different universe.
And it's comfortable.
And it's comfortable.
So
You chill.
I see it. You're sitting down, right? Like, I've never
Not
been.
all
You
seats.
can,
You can.
yeah,
There's
can.
GA too.
Yeah,
So no
Yeah,
one's
there's
like,
GA,
no one's
dance
like,
floor.
orgy,
There's
pumping.
bottom.
There's
the
dance
bottom.
floor,
Yeah,
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 bottom,
yeah.
yeah.
But if you're in a seat, you're not really. You're just kind of like enjoying the show.
But people are standing
People
up and
standing
dancing
up.
too.
Okay. Yeah,
I'm
people
literally
stand
asking because I never. I only see
Yeah.
it on people's Instagram.
Yeah,
I don't
it's
see
it's
the whole-
profound, man, because there's 4 decks of vertical seating, and then there's still a GA that holds 1,000. Wow! It's so you can still do the raver experience, but
Yeah.
then the problem is Anima is on a 30-foot pedestal, so
saw
you can
that.
barely see him.
I saw that. He's like,
Oh,
on
if
a-
you were on the
you're
floor.
you're in a
Yeah.
better spot if you're on deck 200 or 300, 400 and 500 of the nosebleeds, which still are good views if you want to watch the screen.
Yeah, but you could barely see him, right?
So the
He's
two-
like a dot.
yeah, deck 200 and 300 are good if you want to kind of see the DJ and then get a really good pan of everything without your neck hurting, because it's crazy. You can look in every direction and barely see no non-screen. There's only like a cone of non-screen. It's so nuts. But like, so the problem is though, there's no other place in the world that has this building. First of all, they're going to build one in Saudi Arabia eventually. There's going to be one in London supposedly, and then maybe one in Australia. But right now, Las Vegas cornered the market with peak EDM experience. And so guys like Tiesto want a piece of the action, so they're willing to open for him.
That's
Yeah,
Right?
that's crazy
That
to
to me
hear
is
that
peak
Tiesto's
So
opening, right?
support.
Yeah.
I think that we haven't hit peak EDM, and I'll tell you why. I use an Apple Vision Pro, and I think we're 5 years away from augmented reality taking over 100%, where you can be at an Anima concert and a Tiesto concert and the John Summit concert, all in different crazy environments, all within the same hour.
Whoa.
You could just
All at once.
all at once,
Live.
You could be with your friends, all in different places, and now they have those haptic suits, kind of like
Yeah,
Ready Player
yeah.
One.
Well, that's like those
link to
seats.
that. Yeah, exactly. So you could be with your friends. You could be like, let's go check out John. Boom.
So that's like all VR, but everybody has to have that.
Yeah, but
Right.
it's like beyond VR. It's almost like a much more. It's so high definition, and it works so well, and that the technology is progressing so rapidly. I think that would be like peak, where you're
Interesting.
experiencing something.
Well, because like imagine like with Fortnite, they had those raves
Yeah,
for Marshmallow, but imagine
exactly.
putting on a VR instead of watching it on a 27-inch monitor. You're literally in there. That's a good point. That's
Yeah.
interesting. I like that. So, oh man, because the technology really is happening quickly. But do you think that there's also the need for the human experience? Like even I think
That's
think
what
back
I was
to the
gonna
Matrix.
bring up. I was gonna be like, cool, that sounds awesome, right? But then also the fact going with your friends IRL is the ultimate experience for me. I love being around my friends and then dancing and like looking at each other and be like, hey, and that's cool when you don't have the funds to go to a festival, you know, a 4-day festival or an expensive festival. Like, what's that one with the all white party on the other side in
It's
Europe?
in Berlin, right?
Oh, the all white party. the white
What's
party.
it called?
I didn't want to say it. I didn't.
It starts with an S.
I think that's a different
right?
city.
Oh
man.
Where they all wear all white, not all. Come on, God dang it!
But I think it's Berlin, the one with all the globes and there's like
I've
Yes.
seen
fancy
it. It's
stuff.
in Europe. It's in
Yeah.
Europe.
Yeah, but like stuff like that where it's like I don't have, say, for example, the funds to go there. Then
Or the
if I could-
time.
or the time too.
Yeah.
Yes, or if. You know, I'm not a parent, but if I had kids, I had a family, but I still want to have that experience,
Yeah.
then heck yeah,
And
like
but
I want
this
to
is
pop
why
that.
I think that it's we haven't hit peak EDM is that from our point of view, we grew up going.
I was about to add that.
Going to the
Age. I was gonna
festival.
add
But
age.
as
Fair,
you know,
fair,
you
fair.
look at like like the coffee shop parties and all these kind of parties. Younger people are looking for other experiences.
Fair.
And I think that for them, this would be the next step for them.
Yeah.
Because you could have a party with all your friends together in one house and you go to all these different environments and you're more
I see you.
safe and they don't drink as much. And so, I think that's why I say that, not because it's not a cool experience. I think that's the evolution of.
I hear you.
Well, you're right. And look
Yeah.
at
Yeah,
the
I'm more with
reception.
CLA. Like I'm personally want to be in real life, but these kids that are 16, 17,
Yeah.
their
That's what
generation,
they
they're
grew
gonna
up
like
with.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't know anything, any
Yeah.
other thing.
when they grew up with an iPad in front of their face since they were
Yeah,
toddler.
so they're
yeah.
used
Because me,
to
I
it.
don't.
Yeah.
I mean, it's cool. Like, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I'm hating on it, but
Yeah.
I want to
Yeah,
be there in
like-
real life.
Yeah,
But
it's not
you're
something
right.
that I would want to do personally.
yeah.
But I could totally see the evolution getting to
Yeah.
a point where
You're not being like,
Yeah.
oh, this is not ever gonna work.
Well,
We're
have
just
you-
gonna ride
Yeah.
horses.
You said you have
Exactly.
one.
I get it. I know where you're going at. Bro, they used to hate on cars. They really did. They thought cars
yeah,
was weird.
like
They thought, I'm a
something
horse.
different. People are gonna hate on it.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. It's
Who wants to
true.
wheel this round? That
Yeah.
makes no sense. That totally makes
Who
sense.
wants to
Yeah.
be there in like an hour instead of 50 days?
Yeah.
serious.
You gotta put gas in it?
Yeah.
It doesn't take hay?
I'm serious. They really
Yeah.
did. So I can see.
No, but like the NBA is doing that. So have you done the NBA experience?
So I've
It's
seen
courtside.
it, but it's sick.
Yeah. So you can sit
it's
courtside
Oh.
with VR.
sick. Have you seen it?
No.
Yes, I heard.
So
It's
it's like this
Right
virtual court comes up. You see the players, but there's like it's almost like a video game, but that's real life. So you have like
It's a 360 cam
Yeah.
sitting in where a courtside
Exactly.
seat would be.
And it's
so you're
so
still looking around
crazy.
like the courtside.
So is it like a real game going on
Yeah.
at that moment?
yeah
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
snap!
So you're,
and you
it's like a
just pop up?
$20,000 ticket, but now they can sell $100,000, $20 tickets.
Yeah, I'm like,
Yeah.
how much
Make
are
more
the
money.
tickets? Oh,
Yeah.
So
So
it's genius.
and
It's
it's
genius.
like
It's affordable.
it's not like going to Best Buy and putting on the like Quest Low HD kind of goggles or whatever. Like the new ones are crazy. Like they look
Yeah, I heard
so
about it.
real, and it feels
Who makes it, Apple or
so
Google?
real. So Apple makes one, and then
Well,
Quest just came
Meta-
out with their new one,
Yeah.
which is
Is
like
Quest
the
under
rival.
Meta?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Because then Apple's coming out with a way cheaper version because they got laughed at when their goggles are $3,200. So people are just wearing around like Gucci goggles. Like I saw them in the club. Dudes were wearing them like they were
Interesting,
flexing.
really?
Yeah, that was wild. I saw it 2 or 3 times actually in Florida.
Like in the club or just
Wow.
In the club, it was like it was a flex. Like they
Hey.
were,
Just boom.
yeah, no, they were wearing them like ski goggles.
Oh, okay.
Like on the side of their
okay.
head, like
So funny.
Stop.
yeah, I'm dead serious.
But let me ask everybody, like you said that, is this peak EDM? How come this doesn't translate to open format or Latin or any other genre? Why is it only
Because
dance music?
because of the production requirements.
Okay.
Because EDM has always been hand in hand with production of some sort.
Yeah.
Historically.
No, of course. Of
Oh
course.
yeah, like even back, before LED screens were a thing. Like for example, Daft Punk. They innovated the stage production with the triangle. So they had the gigantic LED triangle with tubes, and like, even Skrillex said that changed his perspective on stage presence. So and if you go even further back, I mean, if you look back in the Ibiza days, like we relied more on go-go dancers historically, or like some sort of mood person or things going on. Even in the 70s, they had those spinning lights with the crazy pin spots, and there was always some sort of production that went with dance music. And then with hip hop, you didn't necessarily need it as much because you're playing hip hop in the alleys. You had graffiti, and you had like break dancers. That's how that started. So you didn't need production per se. It was about the people collaborating. And then with Latin, it's been more about like the sexiness. You're like going out, you get the nice dress on, and the guys dressed up in a nice tuxedo. They were the show, especially if you're dancing in an environment where you were kind of like showcasing as a couple. So the dance floor was the show because so many talented dancers.
Yeah,
so that's
sure.
what EDMs relied on, that laser beams and crazy stuff. So, but now it's transforming, right? So now there's all this fusion because like you play EDM Latin fusion, right?
Yeah, a lot of it. Yeah.
So
yeah, for sure. Yeah.
But do you feel weird when you don't have production around you to play EDM Latin fusion compared to when you're just playing Latin?
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah, it's a little bit more pressure, right? Like, okay, now I got to be the show. I got to more jump up.
So
more.
do you think dance music is? Could you play dance music without production? Are the people there for both the combo or just the actual music essence and culture itself? Because
certain genres.
Well, no way, because like I've been to warehouse parties and there's nothing but like a
doom.
Yeah, you have turntables that are on like some milk crates and like
Yeah, but that's underground. So that brings
You
me.
know?
That was my next question for you guys: is underground's coming back because let's face it, we're in a challenging economy. Egg prices is a flex.
Stock
I'm
market.
gonna walk around the club with a crate of eggs. I'm balling.
that's a flex.
They're like,
Yeah.
damn, he got money.
Like you say,
He
I
got
the
that
60 pack. I got the 60
Yeah.
pack, baby
It's
girl.
on the bottle service menu now. Eggs.
yeah.
So while I'm pulling up with my crate of eggs, I'm gonna pull up to the club. I don't need bottle service. I need egg service.
And then-
Yeah, there you go.
So, but that's the thing. So like people don't want to deal with that all the time. Like when you come to Vegas, it's expected you're going to spend more for tables, bottles. But even that's starting to change. There's more clubs downtown that are charging $200-300 for a bottle experience. The way it used to be, not 20 grand for a minimum. An F1 weekend. So you don't need to jeopardize your investment savings to go out and have a good time. You can just everybody chip in $40. Let's get some bottles. And like a warehouse party, there's no bottles. You're just showing up. So it might be a cover charge, $20, $40 just to get in, and you're done.
You get a bottle of water.
Yeah, a bottle of water. Yeah, that's about it. So that's
Warehouse parties back in the day. Wow, nothing.
Well, because I just saw a friend of mine on Facebook yesterday posted about this because he's a really deep underground house DJ. He's really his fingers on the pulse of like Central Florida, like house, not EDM, but really good house music. And he's talking about this. He's like, guys, like you don't need to spend a fortune to come out and have a good time. Please just come out and embrace the culture for what it was. And he was talking about parties, not even he was promoting, but just telling people he loved these parties because that's what they represented. So do you think that's also going to become more of a thing? Do you see that happening even here in Vegas or outside other cities that you visit? Do you think underground non-establishment businesses and more warehouse parties like they were in the 90s, I don't even know about that culture, but I hear about it. Do you think that could end up being a thing again? Because there's always going to be a desire to
That's
go out.
actually really pretty cool to bring it back because everything comes back around, right? Just like fashion always comes back around or whatever comes back around. Especially in our economy nowadays where it's so hard to get more than a dozen eggs at the... at the grocery store.
How's the bottle service? Like you're on the strip, so how's that looking? Like you seeing it when you're DJing due to the economy and people are going to do the underground scene.
It's-
Like bottle service is expensive.
Yeah, it's not as like relevant as it was before. Where like I remember Hyde, it'd be like constant like, oh, there's a bottle coming out, and your like energy has to be cut because you have to play this like presentation song, Superman or like remember that? Like or something. Like they had like different kind of I don't know like themes of to play, but then you have to go back into your like vibe again. But yeah, I mean, if I do see bottle service is probably like less than a handful, and if it's more than that, I'm like, oh my god, this table's really popping off.
Yeah.
They got money and they're having a good time or they're celebrating. But
That's
to
crazy.
think of it, the last times that I've headlined, it's
like 20 to 25
probably
right now.
like just a 2 or 3
I'll
I
tell
don't
you
know,
why I think
presentations.
the
Really?
warehouse thing is
Yeah.
going to pop
Wow.
off.
That's
The
crazy.
excitement level. When I was
Yeah.
like 16, 17, actually probably till all the way I was 21, I used to go to these like underground raves.
Yeah.
And it was like so exciting.
Yeah,
There's
so
like that
fun.
excitement,
Oh, yeah.
like the cops
Yes.
coming or
Yeah.
whatever.
And you got to
like-
talk to 3 different people on 3 different corners to get the
Yeah.
address because
Oh, yeah.
you got to. It was like a game of like
They're like pop-ups.
Yeah,
literally
like
like
pop-ups.
Easter egg
Yeah.
hunting. Like
So
Yeah.
it's funny you say that. The very first rave I ever went to was in San Francisco, and it was just like a movie. Like we went to this bodega, you bought this like certain drink, and then you got an egg. It's funny you guys were mentioning eggs. That's funny. And on the egg was a number. Then at a certain time you call the number, and then they give you the address. Then you're supposed to break the egg on the ground so that no one can find
Like
the
that.
number.
Whoa.
Like, yeah, it's like this whole
It's a whole thing.
Yeah,
Dude, that's
and
amazing.
It was so cool. And
That's
I remember
smart.
being like, wow.
it was like Mission Impossible. You got to destroy the information.
I'm part of something
100%.
cool.
But that
like
was, they
nobody
can't do that.
knows.
Eggs are too expensive. You
Yeah,
can't do
Oh,
that.
yeah, can't do that now.
Yeah.
Can't do that no more.
Yeah, I mean, so this is where I'm starting to wonder if the traditional club scene that we've seen for 15, 20 years, it's like a dangerous game of chicken that's being played with the economy. Because the first club that realizes, hey, if we start selling bottles for $2.50 again, we'll sell a ton of them. It's just, would you rather sell more volume or not sell any at all, except for that one time when that one guy does have money? I'd rather sell 1,000 bottles versus
But where,
200 in a
though?
month.
Because you gotta like Vegas, because like these John Summit guys are expensive, dude. That's where they make their money back.
But
so.
this is where shrinkflation happens.
What's that?
So when we talk about the price of drinks having to come down to sell them,
Yes.
all of a sudden the budgets go down. So that means superstars have to start charging less money. And I've
wish
talked
they
to
did.
headliner DJs about this. Big guys, they're getting booked less because the club is selling less drinks
Yeah,
because
of
they're so
course.
expensive. So they can't afford the big name DJs as often. And then that in turn will eventually force those headline DJs to lower their
Oh,
rates.
booked less. I just talked to one of the talent buyers for one of the groups out here. She said that her job right now is not even booking talent. It's arguing with agents to tell the artist, hey, we're not renewing your contracts unless you come down, because
I agree.
Either you come down
Yeah.
or the club is going to close. It's impossible for a nightclub in Las Vegas now to support a $250,000
Yes.
DJ that sells 300 tickets.
That's what I
That-
wonder about. Like,
And that's
how do these
preposterous.
clubs
It's
make the
preposterous.
money back?
Yeah.
That's why I asked you about bottle service.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude,
Yeah.
that's where the money is. It's not
Yes.
GA. It's
It's
No,
not
bottle
GA.
service.
It's a 10, 20, 40,
you can do
$50,000
the math
bottles.
on it. Let's say $20 a ticket at 300 tickets.
That's 20 grand.
20 grand.
So you're not
That's
even at
not-
10%.
you're not,
You're not
yeah,
even-
dude.
yeah.
You're
That's
not.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to mention the company names, but there was big companies that I heard about being perpetually in the red
Oh, yeah.
for years.
Yeah.
And they just had more investors come in.
Yeah.
And it was like a Ponzi scheme. And it's
Low
like,
key, dang.
yeah,
It is.
Because like, hey, we need more money to pay these guys, but nobody's ever going to get any investment money back. And then unfortunately, that all comes to an end at some point, and it did. And I've seen this numerous times in numerous cities, and it's unfortunate. And I think the cool thing is just good, talented DJs that cost a fair price are going to have a ton of work.
Oh, 1,000%.
I think that's going to be the
That's what.
Well, sidetrack, but real quick. Latin music, that's why it's going down. Dude, these guys all think they're all Bad Bunny, and they want to charge that, and they don't
nuts.
sell tickets. So
Yeah, well, then
that's why it's
the
gone
mar-
down so much.
the
That's why
market
only the
will
3 guys
dictate.
have gone on. Yeah,
Yeah.
Bro, you can't charge $250K, and Latinos, we don't buy bottle service, bro. We don't know what that is. We buy beer buckets.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
I'm
that's
serious.
true. You buy
We buy
buckets
beer
of Corona or something,
Yeah, dude, we
like-
don't buy, or we buy
But
at
That's
the
your
bar.
that's
bottles.
revenue.
Seriously.
So that means
Yeah.
revenue's coming in. It just needs to be proportionate to
Yeah.
the entertainment costs and what your cap is in your room. Because that's the other thing. There's a lot of great rooms in Vegas that hold 100 people, and you could have some great DJs in there. But the problem is there's this misconstrued idea that we have to have either ticket sellers or just a super beginner DJ that's local. And there's so many talented DJs that could be in that room. If you packed it out, you could still afford to pay a $1,000 DJ, $2,000 DJ versus a $150 or $100
Yeah.
DJ and a free bar tab. So there's got to be room in the middle, and I think the market's going to steer that. I guess I'm being hopeful here, but there's a lot of, like, I'm obviously being here in Las Vegas. There's a lot of room for this to happen too, because the strip is always going to be the strip. The weekends are always going to be the weekends. Ballers are always going to be ballers. But there's the regular person that lives out in Henderson or out in Summerlin and just wants to go and have a good time at a normal club. And there's a lot of places that are popping up to do that. So I think that when those places that have 150 cap are making 100 grand a night, yeah, you can afford a $2,000 DJ, and that opens up the doors to a bunch of opportunity. So I think we're going to go into that realm again, where we're like good nightclub DJs are going to be super, super in demand, and maybe the John Summits aren't going to get booked as much in certain places. They're always going to get booked at the festivals. That's a given.
Totally,
But-
1,000%.
But
That's why
club DJing for
Right.
super DJs is maybe going to slow down a lot.
I think the super
That's my
DJ
prediction.
is going to be the local guy that is a promoter. Like, remember when
What do you
Bank
mean?
was open? like
yeah,
back in the day.
that's
So,
what
like,
I was gonna say. Something like that, like way back in the day
break
with
that
us
down, break that down
locals.
we
for me.
used to have so on Sunday nights we used to have this night at Bank called Bank Sundays, right?
Okay.
So it was like me, Karma, and the group of us, and we were the promoters. So we would roll in with like 100 or 200 people, and we got paid, and they would give us all the bottles we wanted or whatever. And we, as a local night, the club made more money than booking talent because we would bring people week over week. And I mean, that's how kind of Vegas ran for a long
For a
time.
while.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
I never knew that.
Yeah.
That you like, wow. That's. I
Wait, so
never
break
knew
that down a little bit more. Like, so
So we were like DJs, but also like promoters.
you
Was
got
it
paid to be
manned?
the DJ too?
So we got paid to be the DJ. We actually didn't get paid to be the promoter, but we got paid more than the resident guy.
Because you were getting paid per head.
And then not really per head. It was just more of like, it wasn't like we weren't getting paid per head, but it was also like so let me start at the beginning. Back in the day, like if you were a Las Vegas DJ, you could play anywhere in the world you wanted. Like I remember when AM kind of first came up, all of us at the same time, all of a sudden you were this Vegas guy and you could play anywhere you wanted. Seattle, Boston, we were all there was like, I don't know, probably 15 of us that were traveling every weekend anywhere we wanted, right? And in order to continue that, you needed to have Vegas nights. So for us, it was good. We would promote the night. We didn't get paid per head, but we got more than the local guy. We got a really good weekly party that we could then invite all of our friends from all these other markets. They wanted to come to Vegas. You have your own night. You got, like you're saying, you got billboards and all these things. It looked really big. And so it was fun. So we'd roll in for like 100, 200 people per night. And I mean, the club made good money and it was great
And
for
it's
us.
an industry night.
and it was an industry night.
Yeah, so you said Sundays, Bank
Yeah.
Sundays. Yeah, so that's amazing. And honestly, the one thing I will give Vegas a ton of credit for is the cooperation between the venues on competing nights. Because I remember back during the Afrojack Avicii era, like everyone had a Monday, everyone had a Tuesday, everyone had a Wednesday, and it was like. But then you go to these clubs on like in the winter, it was like, there was like 500 people in a 3,000 person room. So it was kind of weak. So then they started to get smart. We're like, okay, excess Mondays, excess Monday night swim. And then it was Tuesdays at Omnia.
And we would all go support those. So
Yeah.
like,
So then,
our
yeah,
crew
you're
would go to
forcing
Mondays,
traffic.
Our crew would go to Thursday at Tao. Our crew would go to, Wednesday at Light or whatever.
Yeah.
And then those people would come support you. And then it was also cool too because you would have like
That's a
your
dope culture right there.
core of like 50 people, and then you would tell them, hey, when your friends come in, put them on my guest
Yeah,
list.
it's all support.
Yeah,
I think that's
hospitality.
great with
Yeah.
like Vegas
And then
industry.
you
Yeah.
walk in every night with your big group, and it, you know half of them.
Yeah.
And then the other half is just these other people's friends, but it looks really good to you. So I could totally see the industry going back to that in some capacity.
Yeah, because I feel like we lost that after COVID.
we did.
Yeah. Well,
You
Like,
think the industry's not the
nobody-
industry anymore. It's more
I feel like nobody, like, because, nobody's like crossing over to support each other
Yeah.
on their
No.
off night. So if, whatever, Omnia's off on like a Wednesday, then what's open
What's the
Wednesday?
staff doing to
Excellent.
go,
Yeah,
yeah.
like, hey, support
Right.
here because when you come to our venue, we got you and vice versa. Because this is high school, right? Vegas is such like,
So true.
everybody knows each other and
Yeah.
like we're all intertwined in some way. So it's like, why not support each other? Maybe I don't work at Excess, but hey, like, whatever. If
Yeah.
Exile's there, like, come through. I got a Latin party one night, and we're like, oh damn, I'm off. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
cool, I'm down.
And
Or
You
like
think outings
everybody else.
aren't happening no more? Like,
I don't think-
Really?
I don't see it as
No.
often.
No.
It's not as
No.
See, the
coordinated.
bottle service is
No,
down. There's
not
no
at
more
all.
outings. Like,
Yeah.
they haven't gone on the strip in a minute.
It's-
I remember
it used to be
always
very
outings like
coordinated.
Dre's.
Yeah.
We'll show up to your
You'll
night.
always see,
Yeah.
So it doesn't
Everybody-
happen.
I know.
No, I mean, look at like
Not
back in the day
anymore.
that you had like, so Monday 3 clubs open, Tuesday
Yeah, I remember all that.
2 clubs,
Mm-hmm.
Wednesday 4 clubs, Thursday 3 clubs, Sunday 3 clubs. So you had a lot of clubs, and the only way for those clubs to look packed all the time is if they all supported each other. So it was like it would like feed itself. So then when people would come in to buy the bottles, you would see like all the cocktail waitresses from every other club. So guys would be like, "Oh, there's a lot of hot girls in here," and then they want to spend more money, right? And so like it made sense for the clubs to support each other.
Absolutely.
Damn.
Because like
Yeah.
think about it, if you're the everyman from New York City that you have one night in Vegas
Yeah.
to turn up, you walk into a club that's half full. That's not a good look.
No.
So it's really a massive elevated, especially now, responsibility for everybody that works at any super club that holds more than 1,000 people. The pressure is so high, especially in challenging economies. Because I remember the first time I came to Las Vegas was 2009. It was right after the '08 crash. I was broke at the time, so
Everybody lost their houses.
I didn't care about any economic.
Yeah.
I didn't care. It was my first time to come to Vegas, and I wasn't even aware of that crash. I didn't even really know about it when it happened. I was like, hey, I could finally go to Vegas, and I was wondering, I'm like, man, it's so quiet. It was February in '09. And here I am, like the Christian Audige Club was open, right?
Man.
Yeah.
Did you play there?
Oh yeah.
The Mirage?
Yeah.
The Mirage one?
No, that was a
Treasure Island.
Treasure Island. Yeah.
Island, yeah.
Treasure Island.
What, right across One Oak?
No.
It was in the lobby.
That was the Mirage. So Treasure Island is next to Mirage. It was where
Treasure
Tangerine.
Island is Senor Frog's at.
Yeah.
Oh,
Where Senior Frogs
That's
was,
Treasure.
Oh, no
That's
way.
Treasure.
Yeah.
So, it was
So that was Christian
Tangerine,
Audige.
and then
Oh my God,
Tangerine.
Tangerine.
And Hardy Gang, let's
Yeah.
go. So,
Yeah.
so that was my time frame, right? That was the first time I got to experience it. So February historically is one of the worst months in Vegas. Anyways, it's cold. It's not very busy. There's no conventions really yet.
No.
People are still hungover from from January 1st. So it's like I was out there like, this is so awesome. And, like I didn't know. Like I was still going to places and it was still popping because like these places took the responsibility, even though it was the worst economy crash since like 19 whatever. Like yeah, it was. They still made it a party for me because I went saw T-Pain at Jet. And it was packed. Like Chad Urlacher was there, and I'm a Packer fan. I'm like, "Fuck the Bears!" Yo! And he was like cussing us out back. And he's like, "Yo, fuck you! I hate the Packers!" I'm like, "Yeah, let's go!" So it was really funny.
That's a dope story. That's
And
dope.
we were right
Only
there.
in Vegas.
We were.
Only in
I'm like,
Vegas,
"Yeah!" And here I am. I'm in GA screaming through the partition because he's in VIP and I'm not. So it was really fun to do that, but it was packed. And this was like a Tuesday. It was like
Oh, wow.
and then T-Pain shows up and he's like, "Hey guys, I just got off a flight and I'm super tired, so I need you guys to turn me up right now." And I'm like, "Yo, that's really, that's amazing." Like he was actually at one of his peaks of his career at the time.
Oh, not dude. Hell yeah.
Huge time for him.
Huge, yeah.
So that was like my first superstar experience, and then I got to see Flo Rida, and
Crazy.
all these different things happening at Pier Nightclub,
Yeah.
and so the fact that the resilience of the urgency that Las Vegas takes to keep things going. It's show business. The show must go on. So I think there's a lot of admiration there with the energy and the money that's put into these things. But at some point, they need to reflect what's actually going on. Be observant. Because like right now, dining is super hot in Las Vegas. Dining is the number one thing. It's not even nightlife. It's dining.
Vibe dining.
Yeah, vibe dining, right? So,
Yeah,
all these
that's a
cool
good take.
places.
I like that.
Have you been to
That's a
Super
good take,
Frico? Super Frico is like a cool Italian spot.
I've
heard of that. Where's that again?
Yeah.
So talk about vibe dining. It's at Cosmo, way in the back by the
There
buffet.
you go. Okay, it's
yeah.
at Cosmo.
What's it called?
So
Super
Super Frico.
Frico?
Yeah.
Oh, damn, yeah.
And so they got all vinyl DJs.
Yeah.
Oh,
So you
wow,
listen
that's
to
dope.
real,
It's
like
super
an
fun.
Italian disco and cool old school stuff on vinyl, and it's just a cool experience. And they have dancers come
Kind of
out.
like the pinky ring thing
I
going
feel
on.
like vinyl is coming back, or
Yeah.
just like that cool
Yeah.
disco
Well,
vibe.
think about it,
like,
too, like all the people that used to buy bottles in the club,
yeah.
they've now graduated. They don't want to go to the club anymore. They're a little bit older. They want to go to dinner and have a party
Yeah.
at dinner so they can be done at like midnight.
Oh yeah, like I would
They got
love.
kids. They got kids. They got
Going to bed
you get
before
to
12.
eat. Like imagine going to the club
Yeah,
and you're like, "Fuck,
chilling,
I want a
yeah.
steak. Let's go. Like,
yeah.
Yeah, right. That's why like Poppy Steaks popping.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
I forgot the other one, Soul, something like that. They wanted to do like every hour like a show.
Yeah, yeah.
What's the point? I didn't get it.
Yeah.
'Cause that come from like the bottle service stuff.
But it's a totally different style of interpretation of entertainment now. And the cool thing is, if it gets hype enough, it just keeps going. It turns into a nightclub. That's what's actually really cool about it, is because, like, okay, if you had a good enough night, it looked like a club anyways. So it's a win-win. So if you're catering to because I'll give you another example. My buddy in Detroit owns a disco club. And he's like, bro, I close the club at 12. I open at 6. It's done.
And
he's
it's
like,
perfect.
I rang more money than my normal nightclub, and I'm closed at midnight. Because everybody goes in there and buys like Johnny
That's
Walker
nice.
Blue Label.
Oh wow.
That sounds great.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
And
Where's this club at?
it's up in
Seattle?
Detroit.
Oh, Detroit.
So it's like
okay.
a Detroit disco capsule
dope.
club.
That's
Like
dope.
and he's catering
Like real
to
disco, like 70s.
yeah, funk and disco.
Wow, that's dope.
And it's catering to a crowd that's 50 and up. So they want to have their high-end nightcaps. They're
They're
spending
drinking
at the
Adioses
bar.
or Long Island.
You know, and they got that money, dude. Like,
'Cause, like,
you
yeah,
top
they're-
shelf instead
Oh,
of
yeah.
Exactly.
Right.
They're not. I'm not. If I'm 60 years old, I'm not drinking. Base level
Sky
anything.
vodka.
So,
You went in with a high noon.
but after 2 drinks, I'm done. You're like, I'm out. But you still spend $100 a head versus 20. So like
Yeah.
you get a packed club full of boomers and they're having a good time. Hey, cool. They made their money. So you have to be receptive to your environment as a nightclub owner, especially right now. You can't ignore the writing on the wall, because if you can adapt, you're going to survive. If you don't adapt and you stay in the ways of 2015, what's going to happen to you? Like you can't sustain itself. And coming back to like the fees and things like that, like what if you are like a super like festival DJ that's crushing it over in Europe and you're making 100 to 200,000 euros a show, and Vegas can only offer you 50? You're not going to see these guys coming around anymore. Because maybe you will. Maybe if you do care about your audience, you want to connect with your fans, you're still going to do the show.
That's what happened with Latin.
Yeah.
Exact same thing. They're doing like Colombia and Puerto Rico and they're selling out. But like, bro, you're in Vegas. Like, it's not the same over here.
Yeah.
You know, like,
And
same thing.
Yeah. And eventually, look at the stock market. It goes up and down. The club market's the same way. You're not always, if it's the same thing forever, what's the point? Like, it's like Groundhog's Day. There needs to be ebbs and flows because the festival market's changing. And, I think that's still kind of going up because there's a lot of people that are in their early 20s that they get their first decent paycheck, but they have to save for that festival. Mm-hmm. So they're not going to a club to just kind of nickel and dime themselves every weekend. They're waiting. They'll stay at home, watch Netflix until that 3-month window hits, and all of a sudden I can go to whatever festival in Georgia or Florida or whatever, like Red Rock. There's so many cool things you can do. But, we were talking about that audio bar. Is it called Audio Bar? Yeah, Audio Bar. Yeah. So
is that the one downtown?
Yeah, this
the
is
new one.
Yeah.
Oh, you went?
Yeah.
What's it called?
Audio Bar.
Oh, literally
Oh,
called
it's an
Audio Bar.
arts
Oh, okay.
district.
Yeah.
So it's
Okay.
so this is where I feel like the downtown area is really an experimentation ground for open-minded thinkers of any kind of business or restaurateur. Like some of the best pizza I've ever had downtown.
Dude, downtown is popular.
Yeah.
I'm in downtown.
Yeah, yeah,
sick.
you know.
I love
Yeah,
it.
the prices go up a little bit, but dude, it's flourishing downtown and Arts District.
Because you're at Commonwealth, right?
Poppin'.
Yeah,
I'm at Common, Lucky Day, and we do Substance.
Yeah, and these are all
and
cool.
Free Park on Fremont. We do 4 venues, so
Yeah.
it's popping. Dude.
So speaking
Dress
of substance,
code, everybody wants to be relaxed.
yeah, it's come as you are. Like, and so Substance and Audio Bar, I feel like are at the bleeding edge of what I think is going to be the trend going into 2030. In general, where
What's that trend? I wanna
meaning a really good DJ that has a fanfare, maybe mid-level, maybe cost 10 grand, 20 grand max, because Substance only holds 700 people, right?
Yeah, they don't. I mean, I have to get in their business. I don't think they book anyone over 25K.
Okay,
They
so
book
there
a
you
lot
go.
of, base house and like.
Because they know they can get that much
Yeah.
at the door with a $100 ticket max.
And those fans are loyal. Bass
Yeah.
music. I'm not too big on the dance culture, but I know like
they have following.
They have a
Yeah.
huge following. Yeah.
But then they've got Audio Bar. That's like maybe 150
You said
people
Arts
cap.
District or downtown? Arts,
Yeah.
okay, that's popping too.
Yeah, so that place is really small, but it still has an LED screen, a really cool DJ booth, a bar, and a dance floor. Maybe
And just a regular
150
DJ.
people cap. But they have regular local DJs. But I think as the place, it just opened. But what it is 150 people is not hard to pack. So, I don't care if there's 1,000 people in a room or 150. If the room is packed, it's awesome. It doesn't matter how many people are in the room. If it's packed, it's awesome. So that's an easy to pack room, meaning if it's not even a busy weekend, you can still have a great experience, and people are going to say they had a great time.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing worse than going into a super club when it's a third full. You don't want to
Yeah.
be there. It looks like a barn.
Tumbleweeds are
You
blowing
can't-
through the dance floor. You're like, oh god.
Yeah, I don't want to be there. That's not a vibe.
Yeah, and you could tell too when a huge room is not packed because you're like,
It hurts.
oof.
You're like the staff, everybody's just
Yeah.
like, oh god.
Yeah. Well, you can
And
hear
no way to
reverb.
partition like
Yeah.
a huge room. Like it just, you're
It's
like
scary.
dang.
Yeah, like that's like I think my number one fear as a DJ is going into a big room to DJ as a headliner and the room isn't packed, and then like you have so much pressure. It's like that meme where it's like the guy just sweating, just dripping sweat.
Oh,
Like,
I've gone through those situations.
Oh,
and
yeah.
you still have to put a smile on your
Still-
face
yup.
and act like it's packed.
Sometimes I've gone like and I'd like talk to the headliner, the opener, and be like, dang, should I still do my intro like to 30 people? I was like, do I? Like, I
Yeah.
don't understand. Does it make sense?
Yeah.
Are they gonna pop off cryo and confetti to 30 people? And it's
Well,
like,
if you angle the phone just
welcome
right, it looks
DJ
like-
CLA, and I'm like,
It's funny, the first time I ever played Excess, so I got booked in
That's crazy,
December,
man.
right? And I'm like, fucking Excess, let's go.
Wait, when was this again?
This was like probably 8 years ago.
What month you said?
Oh, December.
December. Oh.
Yeah, so this is like
cold.
I want to say it's like 2 days after Christmas, but I was still thinking like, you know,
Yeah,
it's like,
yeah,
and I look
yeah.
at the lineup, it's like all of December is like local guys, and I'm like, you know, good for them. They're like, they're all giving us a shot.
You didn't think-
I
Little
walked
did
in
you
there,
know.
and there's like 10 people, and I was
no.
like, huh.
What'd you
And
do?
then I was
Wait,
like,
is that excess? The big.
yeah, like the big one, like the big one.
Oh my God.
And I was like, oh man, so I'm like texting my friend, I'm like, does it pick up? He's like, oh yeah, we'll probably get 3 times as many people, 40 people. So I did the same thing. I'm like, I did like the intro, and we did
Yeah.
everything, like the laser beams, and like all
Yeah.
that shit. And it got like, to his credit, it got to like 100 people.
Okay, that's better.
On a club that fits like 10,000, you're
Yeah.
like, wow. And then you get like that one song that you like, you play that's wrong, and it's
Bro.
like, it's like cockroaches when you turn the lights on. They're all just scattered. You're like, oh god, now I gotta get
Yeah.
them back. Like
The
Can't
pressure.
experiment. You got to play all hits all night.
Bro.
Non-stop hits. No
Yeah.
fillers. No like.
nothing,
all
bro,
right. Yeah, you can't.
nothing.
Yeah, you can't make a misstep. That's
Yeah.
the stakes are high, man. But you know, to be fair, if you shine in that environment, you get brought back.
Yeah.
It's job insurance. If
Yeah.
you can flex in that
Yeah.
environment,
True.
because they're all
Whether
they're-
20
think about
people
it.
or 20,000.
They're
Yeah.
all watching
The
you.
real
Yeah.
promoter from outside of Vegas doesn't see that. Oh
No.
my gosh,
Yeah.
she's at excess. Oh, she's at
Yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah. And you know what's cool is like that's where attitude is so important. Like if you walk in there, you don't complain, you just
Yeah.
do your thing, and you like
Yeah.
you walk out and you're like, thank you so much, guys. You send an
Yeah.
email the next day. I had the biggest. That was the best time I ever had.
Yeah.
They're like, really? Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay.
This guy's cool.
See you next
Seriously.
December.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good note for anybody listening because people
you
can have
have a-
attitudes. People have egos like, oh, I do this
Yeah.
when it's busy. And then, all right, well, new manager, I don't like this dude no more.
Yeah, exactly.
Right,
That's a
right.
good take.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
just have
I've
to do your
had the shitty
job.
attitudes before. My, I don't want to
Because
be here.
you got to look at it as paid practice. Because
Yeah.
Totally.
here's the other
practice.
caveat to that. Because
Write all this down.
there might be more. If you got 10 people at
Totally.
excess, you got
Yeah.
more managers than
Oh, yeah.
people.
Right.
So
Yeah.
they're all
100%.
not busy.
Yep.
They're gonna watch
They're
you.
paying
Yeah.
attention to you
So
and what you're
this
doing.
is like a job security opportunity.
Oh, yeah.
And they might
Yeah.
just happen to say, you know what? Screw it. We're putting this guy on a crazy
Yeah.
night, Memorial Day weekend.
Plus, back
Like,
then, like when Twitter was popping off, like
Yeah.
when I tweeted about being in excess,
Eh.
no one saw that shit. It was just like my Facebook picture was like you're saying like this angle. It was just like me and like
Yeah.
all the ladies. I was like, yo,
Confetti.
that shit was popping. Like,
Yeah. It's
but it
power
brought me
perception,
gigs.
bro.
Yeah, no, it
Yeah.
totally brought me gigs, like 100%. Like,
yeah.
Marketing 101.
Yeah.
Power perception.
That's right.
Know how to hire a
Yeah.
good photographer.
yeah,
Seriously, when there's like 40 people on the dance floor and I'm like, well, this is just a slow night. So
Yeah.
I'll just even get up on because there's stairs, like, for example, at Jewel on the side, there's stairs like you could go up and like stand like above, and you could see down on the dance floor. I just grab the mic and be like, all right, y'all, we gonna make this a house party. Let's pop off. Let's go. So
I like
the
the house
more
party
intimate.
reference, 'cause,
yeah,
oh, shit,
because
all right,
it's
cool.
like,
Yeah.
it's just us. Let's do this. Like, it doesn't have to be like wall to wall pack. It's not, but hey, we're gonna make it a vibe. And I like that. Like those 20 people are just like, okay, and it's a job. I just do what I do.
That's
And
dope.
And it really is. It's,
Yeah.
And
As long
honestly,
as those
like
20 people
I'm
having a
first
good
to,
time.
I'm first to admit that I get in some like what they call it, the sunken place,
okay,
where
what
you
is
get in a
that?
bad attitude.
Right.
Oh, that's what I was
Like,
asking you guys. How do you
I've
guys get
had
on
those
your
times,
attitudes?
man.
'Cause
Like,
Yeah,
I've had like
screw this.
we're human.
high,
Yeah,
low lows.
totally.
Yeah, talking about the Vice podcast with drinking, like that's a lot of times where you have a bad night and you go into the, hey, fuck it, I'm just gonna drink,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden it spirals into a really bad night.
Yeah.
because all of
Yeah.
a sudden you're just like screw it, like ugh. So then you're
Yeah.
your own wrecking ball. And I've seen other people do it, and I've seen myself do it. And, you learn from it, and sometimes it's like it's just a slap on the wrist. But otherwise, I've seen people lose their jobs.
Yeah.
It's
Totally.
crazy, man.
I had a manager tell me one time, and it's just like totally changed my perspective. I was having one of those nights. I was in a bad mood, and I'm like, kind of like, fuck this. I'm too big for this. And then,
But it's
he was
true,
like, it's like you all think that, right? Like, it all,
all
like
do
those
that.
thoughts
We
go
all
through your
do it,
mind,
man.
right? Like you're like picturing
The diva
yourself.
moment.
Ego,
And then you're
yeah, for
picturing
sure.
Chesto, and you're like, I'm just like him, right? Like,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So this manager was like, he knew where I was. He knew exactly my mindset. And he goes, let me ask you a question. How many tickets did you sell tonight? And I was like, well, I got my four friends here. They're drinking for free. And he was like, how many tickets did you sell? How many people did you book? All these things, right? And I was like,
You're like,
I didn't do
ooh.
any of those things. And he's like, so why do you have a bad attitude? You're getting paid the same. And I was
Yeah.
like, damn, you're right.
That's
Like,
bars.
yeah, you know what I mean? Like, exactly.
true.
But it's all perspective,
Yeah.
right? And all of a
Yeah.
sudden I was like, man, and
Yeah.
I am lucky. Like, I'm getting paid the exact same. I'm
Yeah.
getting paid my normal rate.
Yeah.
let's just have a good time.
Yeah.
Right? I once saw this DJ, and I thought this was so clever. It was cheesy, but it worked so good. It was really dead, and he just got up on the mic, and he actually walked down to the crowd and was like, hey, what do you guys want to hear? And he actually let the crowd come up because there was that few people, and they gave him some songs, and those people had the best time.
That's
And
great.
everybody stayed.
This is at a premier nightclub in Vegas?
Yeah,
Not
totally.
even like a, wow.
No, yeah.
Not,
So they made-
not like
made
a
them the star.
Not
downtown
like a-
spot.
yeah, like, all right.
Wow.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Insane.
What's funny is the
it
managers
worked, eh?
actually loved it. They were like, you didn't give up. You actually engaged the crowd that was here.
Yeah.
Nobody here cares what is going on. We
Yeah.
only are trying to make the most amount of money. Those people went home with a story. At the end of the night, they were like all taking pictures with him.
Yeah.
And they were like, this was so fun. Like most of the people that were there had never been to Vegas before. So they were like, that's really cool.
I think that separates the people who have experience and the ones who are just like being a DJ because it's like hot and it's popular and I want to
Yeah.
be seen, is the ones who have experience, who've gone through those nights of 5 people, 10 people on the dance floor to busy nights, whatever. Like a master DJ for me is somebody who could pivot through whatever is going to be thrown at you, and you're going to make the best of it. And that's, I looked up to Vice a lot because I've opened for him hundreds and hundreds of times, and I feel like I've learned so much from him because things have happened and you can never rely on technology, like turntable goes out or a sound goes out or something, and you have audio people in the back like fixing it, but what are you going to do? They're staring at you. You know, I've seen him just get up on the mic and just like is so good with just engaging the crowd to not get them
That's dope.
bored
Actually-
or being like, boo, DJ.
Well,
You
actually,
gotta
I got in
maneuver
trouble.
and go around it.
Yeah, like,
keep going.
and then
You
until
know, we
the
get in a bad
sound
mood when,
starts
like,
and you're just
your
like, all
laptop's
right,
not
let's
working.
go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's just pivoting. It's a skill.
Well, because I got in trouble for saving a show once.
Really?
Ironically, because it was at I'm blanking out at Hard Rock at the pool. What's the name? Rehab.
Yeah.
So I was at Rehab. I got booked, and first of all, I was supposed to like headline, and then a bunch of stuff got shuffled around, and they had some other guy opening up, and then headlining all the way through so they put me on 4 to 6. So if you've ever been a pool party in Vegas, everybody's sunbaked and drunk by then.
Right.
So there was nobody left on the dance floor. And there was just a bunch of tables, like all straggling along, barely getting by, like sunburnt. And I'm like, you know what? Screw it. I just got on the mic and I'm like, hey, I want to have a twerk contest right now. And it was like EDM and stuff. So I went straight into like Little John twerk bangers.
Yeah.
And I had all the security bum rush me. Like, you didn't clear this with us? I'm like, I have a dance floor. I made it happen in less than 3 minutes. I had this place lit. And they almost carried me off stage. I was arguing with the sound guy. I was arguing with the manager. I had like the guy that booked me. He was like my manager at the time. He was trying to like get everybody to back up. Like, yo, talk to me. Don't talk to him. Let him work. Oh, it was a nightmare. It was a nightmare.
Wow.
It was like my
And
first time headlining a
came,
pool.
This came from because there was no dance floor. I got to make it happen.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, I literally went up. They just got done playing Oasis. Not even Wonderwall. It was some other track for this
Like
British dude.
B-side?
It was like some
That's
other
the only
song
song
I've
I
never
know.
heard of for this British dude that spent $30K. And so that's what I had to come off of. And it was just,
Wow.
everybody's just lounging around. It looked like a spa pool at this point. And this is Rehab. So I'm
Yeah.
like, this is not what I saw on MTV.
Yeah.
What's going on? So I'm like, screw that. I'm going to play lit bangers right now. Because it was just like house and EDM, like, whatever. It was
Poolside
just wasn't
shit.
working. It wasn't
Yeah.
working. And it was like a hip hop crowd. Like, you could tell they wanted to get lit and turn up a little bit more. They had a little more juice left.
Yeah.
I'm like, let's do this. And I literally got almost carried off stage.
Do you think they were mad because it was EDM house and
Well,
they
I
didn't
think
want
part
hip
of it
hop?
may have been that P. Diddy had a party there like a month prior, and the
Sheesh.
SWAT team had to show up.
Oof.
I remember that was during the All-Star Weekend.
Yes,
They were
it was
they
a month
played
after
86
that.
All-Star Weekend.
I think it's something to
because
do
of
with that.
Dude, so
I heard. I was 21 years, but I heard about
Nobody
it.
told me that.
So we were working at Rain, and so I'm opening Rain, and my friend Ian is the GM of Rain, right? They have P. Diddy performing.
Rain was a club at Palms back in the
yeah.
day, guys.
This is like the first giant mega club
Yeah.
probably ever.
Yeah.
Fire from the ceiling and all that shit, right? So he comes running in, and he's like, dude, no hip hop. And I'm like, it's fucking All-Star Weekend. What the fuck are you talking about? So Diddy's DJ comes up, and he's like starting to get ready. So I kind of like walk to the front, and you just see security guards just locked in arms. and people are just trying to like push through. It was like they had to call the cops. Like this shit was fucking. I'm sorry. Earmuffs, everybody. It was lit. This was lit. It was crazy. And I just remember the next day they were like, "This will never come back to Vegas again." And then like 2 weeks later, the news was like, "Yeah, All-Star Weekend will never come back to Vegas again." Like
It was the highest level of prostitution, like in history, like something.
Really?
Like that. Dude, it was insane. I remember hearing about it.
Yeah. Well, I didn't because this was
It was insane.
I was a little
wasn't
bit
even 21 when I
oblivious
heard
to
about
this.
it.
it was like the most ratchet.
Because what year
weekend
was
I've
this?
ever seen in my life.
2014, 13?
Yeah, no, it was before that.
It was
2012.
I was in
It
high.
had
I was
to be-
I was 21 in 2012, so it was like 09 or something like that.
Yeah, I was
08.
gonna say it had
It
to
was
be
in that
before
range,
Bro,
yeah.
it was. I even heard about
Yeah,
it.
'cause
I'm a
it-
big
'cause
NBA
That's
fan.
crazy.
They literally like at rehab they ripped the TVs. Like people were hanging from
Yeah.
the TVs on the palm trees and ripping them down. This
Wow.
SWAT team
What
had
it was,
that.
it was just ratchet. Or they were rioting because of like they weren't playing hip hop.
No, it was like
Well, no, it was
or
just got too out of control.
crazy.
it was like
Yeah.
ratchet and like so they closed the doors and so people were trying to like get in and then they were like, well, fuck this, you can't stop me. And
Yeah.
then they were trying to like push their way through security. And then people started like climbing, and then they were like punching security guards. And,
Yeah.
like, dude, it was crazy.
Yeah, and then, so here I am playing like Get Crunk, like, like
Who's
yeah.
this white boy playing this
Yeah.
song right now?
And, like, I
Twerk
had-
contest. Hey, you come on.
and it was like it's like the security guards were extra mad. I'm like, this is so out of context. I'm like,
Yeah.
you didn't clear this with us. I'm like, so what? I don't have to clear my playlist with you. Like, so here I am, like my attitude, Mr. Batitude over here, and then they're like still shell shocked from SWAT teams showing up. So
The
like,
GM's like so happy with Oasis, and then he gets on like, John.
get crunk, motherfucker,
Like,
get
oh
crunk.
god.
Fuck yourself.
So I'm like, yo, like I want to get lit right now. Like I told her, like come to the dance floor, and I had like a line of girls twerking on the subwoofers. It was great. It was amazing.
Yeah.
Like VH1 Spring
Like,
Break.
instantaneous. It was like first song.
I don't know. They didn't understand anything. I don't even
but
know
it
what's
was so
going
out
on
of
back
context.
there.
Like maybe tell me something. Like let me know the SWAT
Yeah.
team was here. I don't know.
Like why they get mad at all that, man?
So that was my first pool experience headlining Vegas. That was great. Yeah,
wow. Oh,
great.
that was your first pool
Yeah,
experience.
basically getting hauled off stage, cussing people out, like sound guy, and then the other sound guy was trying to turn down my mixer. I'm like, touch it again, touch it again.
Wow.
He's like, I will touch it again. It's not yours. I'm like, it's mine right now. So
Wow.
it was bad. It was like all this stuff going on. I was like maniac mode. So yeah, it was.
What a core memory.
Yeah, it very much. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a story.
To put it in perspective, I think the iPhone 5 was out because like
Oh my.
I think because I remember having an iPhone 5. Yeah, because it was a crazy time to be alive. But yeah, so it's all these things happening in Vegas right now. I feel like we really are, because Vegas is an innovation, right? It should be an innovation, but sometimes you have to withdraw from innovation and go back to tradition. Because there are some traditional things that work really well.
Yeah. Reset.
Yeah.
Reset.
And the cool thing is we all kind of got to see the cyclical effect of it. We're all veteran DJs here. We all have seen the best of it. And that's why I think this is so great because veteran DJs that stay with the times will stay forever employed. Like that's what's so great. You don't age out of this game if you could stay relevant, but also show your experience. Because like, hey, we got to play disco right now, or we got to play 80s new wave right now. Can you do it? Hell yeah, I can do it.
Yeah.
So as opposed
I
to
had
the
a
guy that
question
just
on that. I was gonna ask that. You already gonna get into it. Is that I see Vegas like eras. Like it was the like 2000, 2010 era, like pure nightclub and all that. Then 2010, 2015, the EDM boom, the Afrojack, and then it went open format. Open format DJs thrived in this golden era of Mustard coming back and Latin music and whatnot. And now EDM's coming back. I feel like it's a wave. How would you guys who have been in the game? What do you guys give some tips and how to maneuver through this EDM wave that's coming back? I feel like we're in 2010, 2015 Afrojack era where everyone wants to become a producer now or a EDM DJ. Like EDM is huge where open format DJs like me, I'm sitting back and I'm becoming the old head, be like, man, I hate this shit, bro. Like I can DJ. Like
because you really don't like EDM.
And I don't hate it. I can.
But it's not where your
I'm open
heart's
format.
at.
Yeah, it's not my heart. So
Yeah.
like, I'm asking you guys, how did you guys maneuver through that EDM like wave where it was the Black Eyed Peas, it was Calvin Harris, and
that was
they
actually
wouldn't-
yeah.
So how did you guys like? What are you guys telling? Because EDM is huge. If you guys like in downtown, it is huge. Like people want to go see dance music DJs. I'm like, bro, like these guys just popped off on TikTok and now they're dope. It's just like, I mean, as an open format DJ, now I have to go back into the shadows. Like, so what would you guys
I don't know, man. But like back then, it was so fun. Like
my
that
God.
was like
Yeah.
that was the funnest time I've ever DJ'd.
Because it was
like-
mashups of EDM
Yeah.
and pop. Then you
and
had
like the
purist.
energy, in the club was so crazy. It was like 4 hours of just constant crazy energy.
Yeah.
It was so fun.
Because think about it, it evolved from like
Yes.
Holla Back Girl and the
Yeah.
Holla Back mashups, and then it went to Holla Back Girl EDM edits.
Yes.
Just to put that in
Yeah.
a crude perspective, right? But it's true because we had the pop bangers to start, and then there was pop mashups.
Yeah.
And rock mashups and all that cool stuff. So it got people acclimated, especially during the AM era, because AM was like the original TikTok when it came to like throwbacks. Like
Yeah.
you play CCR in a Black Eyed Peas.
I refer more
Like-
to the EDM boom.
Well, but that's what I'm saying.
okay,
So
okay.
there was this crazy like meld over because like I had to travel in China quite a bit during that peak, like from 2010 until 2017.
Yeah, it was
that's
like-
when I was going to Asia because they were the hyper consumers of it. So it was
dance
like-
music.
of dance
Okay,
EDM
got it,
in
got it.
general. So, but I think your perspective is a little skewed because open format I think has never been hotter too.
Really?
I think you're as an open format DJ, your stock value is huge, but you have to infuse EDM into it.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So,
Yeah.
Which I do.
But you do.
I do.
When
I do a lot,
watched
yeah.
you, you kill it at Live, bro. Like, I mean, you really do have a great fusion to your set. It's just you could do this everywhere if as
Yeah.
long as you have the presence of knowing your crowd. Because like
Yeah.
sometimes you go to a place
Yes.
you just don't know. You don't know who's in front of you. You got booked the first time
Yeah,
in
yeah, of
Houston,
course.
Texas, or something. I don't know who's there.
Yeah.
So you almost have to watch. I always show up early to watch the
yeah.
opener because they already know what they can get away with and they're going to flex a little bit.
Yeah.
So I love it when an opener DJ flexes because like, all right, you're coloring outside the lines too. Let's go. So all of a sudden it opened my mind up. I don't know how you.
No,
I
I
always
mean-
come in early.
I meant more
Plus,
like
like-
you guys get like Alex Dreams told me, he goes, bro, I used to be the headliner at Excess. Then the EDM boom happened and he got put as an opener. He goes, bro, so like you guys get pushed back too. Like, damn, bro, I can do this too. Now they want the $300,000 Calvin
But
Harris. Like,
that
but-
guy has a hit on the radio.
I get it. No, I do.
That's the only reason he's $300,000 right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not hating on it. I'm saying, how did you guys? The tips for DJs. How did you guys maneuver through that? Like, damn, now I got to become the opener and the closer for these guys, or
You gotta evolve. You gotta learn how to do it. And like it goes back to what we said before. If you're not selling tickets,
Yeah.
you gotta be the guy that can. You're a chameleon. You gotta,
Yeah,
gotta
you
be
just
able
have
do
to
it all.
adapt. And I always explain
Yeah.
that to like the newer DJs, how back in the day, before the boom of the Calvin Harris's, the Afrojacks, like Diplo's coming in, it was the local DJs who were the headliners.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? So, and then when they came in and we're like, okay, now we're the openers. And again, yes, you just have to adapt. And like, because we don't have a song on the radio.
no, I get it. And I'm not
you know
hating
what I'm
on
saying?
Calvin. I'm just saying,
Yeah.
yeah.
Adapting, and for me it's just more like I'm so grateful I still have a job. I'm still grateful, you know. And if I'm not headlining, if I don't work, I don't get paid. So you know what I mean. Like I could have my ego involved, but at the same time, you know, maybe I'm not fit for this as a headliner at this club. Now I could be a fit somewhere else because again, just like DeVille said, your stock value is up because you are an open format DJ and you could play at any like space.
And you're a
Unlike
DJ
if it's
from
just
Las
EDM
Vegas.
Yeah.
DJ,
Plus, like, if you're
if
the
you're just
dude-
EDM,
Sorry.
oh no, sorry. If you're just EDM, like you're boxed in.
True.
And you can't get these other gigs because, you know, and then what happens if hip hop comes back around or Latin comes back around and EDM's back in the shadows?
True.
Now what? Like where are the EDM DJs gonna play if like majority of the clubs are
Yeah.
open
Yeah,
format hip hop?
they're gone.
You're gonna have to
yeah.
make your own warehouse parties
and
now,
I think
right?
that's gonna
But as an
happen.
open format, I can play house and EDM.
everywhere.
I can play
Yeah.
Latin, dance hall, hip hop, R&B, 70s, disco, funk. I'm
Everything.
like, I'm good.
Yeah.
Plus,
You know?
there's like real market value to opening for bigger guys.
Yeah.
Other clubs see you and they're like, okay, cool. On the night that he's not here, well, I can bring this guy back. And there's real market value. You get that picture, you get that flyer, you get to tell that story of being with this guy. And like take an open format guy, you may play hip hop one night, you may play EDM one night, you may play Latin the third night.
Yeah.
And look at the story that tells people. You are a valuable entity
Yup.
to somebody that owns a club. Simply because you can play everything that needs
Yeah.
to be played.
They'd be like, oh, we could rely on Exile.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it was-
you can
know.
open for
Just
a
because I
big
talked to
guy.
a
Yeah.
lot of younger guys, and a lot of guys are frustrated because they come from open format, and then EDM boom is here now. Like, bro, I'm not getting booked as much. Like,
That's
why I ask
that's
these
wild to
things.
me because like in other
Yeah.
cities it's the opposite. It's like,
Really?
literally the opposite. So I think it really is because we get into our social circles as DJs and
could
promoters,
be it
right?
too.
So you are seeing a social circle trend, but that's why it's always like I always encourage any DJ go somewhere else you never go every once in a while. Like go
I need to
somewhere
do that,
else.
yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
Because you realize, because like I get like my jaw drops sometimes. I go places like, you get away with this? Oh my god! Then all of a sudden my mind opens up because, like, for example, there's a place I go in Tampa, and my buddy will literally play like it's a Nickelodeon song. I can't remember the show, but he plays. It's like it's it's from like the 2000s era. It was like a rock song, and it's like he plays the OG. And everybody sings
And
the
it
theme
pops
song.
off.
To the, it's
nostalgia.
Yeah. And it's because think about it. It's
Yeah,
a bunch of-
I've heard Hannah Montana in the
It's
club
during
too.
the
I'm
Hannah
like,
Montana
what the-
era.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he does that because he's like 29. So he
Yeah,
grew up in the
it's funny,
2000s as a kid. So, and I'm like, never in my life.
Yeah.
And he's just
Yeah.
confidently dropping an original Nickelodeon theme song. I'm like, okay, fair enough, because he knows his crowd and he knows his environment. But then what happens is he influences people. So now I'm influenced. Now I have the balls to do something like that if I know that the crowd's
That's
right.
happened to me too. To listen
Like-
to me like, dang, you did that?
Yeah. So like that's what I always
Let me
encourage
attempt.
anybody.
Get out of your
If you're a
circle.
career DJ that has like a cycle that you're always in the same places all the time,
Yeah.
take a night off and go somewhere
Yep.
else. It's a different city, a different metro, a different club that's in your city you never go to. Just do it because it's going to
Yeah.
make your perception of reality a lot different. Because I get stuck in weird perception of reality.
Yeah, I do too. That's what I'm
in my
asking. Like,
studio.
I feel like
yeah.
I'm a little like
Yeah.
in the shadows now. Like, damn, I was EDM.
But let's go back to Alex Dreams. Like, think about what he did during the two. And like, not everybody knows the story, but like, he was a resident DJ at
Opened it
XS
up.
nightclub, the #1 nightclub in the world at the time, in 2009, 2010. And keep in mind, he was told by the staff of that club that he wasn't the star. The club was. They told that to every single DJ there. You are not a star. The club is the star. And they played in a room with tinted glass, so you couldn't even see the DJ. That was the culture at the
I
time.
remember that in the
Yeah.
back
Yeah.
over there where I'm
Yeah.
like, where's the DJ? And you
Yeah.
have to really like, they were behind the.
back
Yep.
wall.
Oh my God, I remember
call it a
that.
penalty
Yeah.
box?
I'd go over there, Cyber Kid would be
Yeah.
DJ. Oh, yeah.
So that was what
Holy
he had to deal
crap.
with. So, but
I
think
forgot
about it,
about
because
that.
that could be defeating to a lot of people. Right?
Hell
Like, oh,
yeah.
I'm not even a star when I'm
Especially-
headlining at this cool club. I can't even get some credit. But what he did is he handed out CDs of XS mixtapes. He gave out like, yo, I'm an XS DJ, and people got to know him. So he would DJ there on like Thursdays and Tuesdays or Mondays or whatever, and then he'd go DJ as the super huge Vegas DJ somewhere else because he's a resident at XS. So he built his stock value off marketing and perception. Because there's only so much you can do when you're playing in a timeout box. Like,
Right.
Yeah, you're right.
Like you can't
Can't get a recap like that.
but he's not lying to anybody when he says, "Hey, I'm an XS resident. Come check
Yeah.
me out. Here's my songs of the summer mix.
Yeah.
Here's this. I'm on the radio." So he's influencing people with branding and marketing in a really effective and efficient way. So then he gets booked as Las Vegas XS DJ in Phoenix, Arizona, or New York City, Dubai. Like he was going to China too.
Yeah,
So,
that
like,
name, that Vegas name takes you everywhere.
Yeah. I mean,
yeah.
Do you think he can still hold his weight?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
It still
Las
does.
Vegas DJ is always like gonna hold weight somewhere somehow.
Yeah,
It's still your responsibility to back it up.
For sure.
Because like if you're playing the same way as their local guy, or
Yeah.
if you're just being lazy, you got to bring all that energy with you, and that's a huge weight to carry. Because hopefully you're getting paid a nice premium and then going in there and crushing it and validating that Vegas name.
True.
So that's a
You gotta
big
bring that Vegas
responsibility.
experience.
Yeah.
Get on top of the booth,
Yeah.
mic, and
The whole thing.
yeah.
The whole thing, yeah.
It's
You're an
big.
entertainer. You don't
Yeah,
play. You don't
that's
play
right.
records. You are there to entertain people.
Absolutely.
Those younger kids that you're saying,
I talk to a lot of them. Yeah, because I'm around a lot of 21, 22-year-olds.
do they just play downtown?
I would
Or
say
do they-
they're mostly, and like they're just like, oh, I want to get on the strip, but it's the EDM boom right now. I'm like, I get it. Like if you want to be opener over there or direct support, you got to get in with the music director. It was just a discussion between a couple of
Yeah.
us, and a lot of them feel like that, or a lot of them are like a little younger than me. But they're playing downtown, but they feel like, damn, bro, I want to play the big clubs, but it's the EDM boom right now.
See, it's
like,
funny. I'd rather play downtown.
I know, right?
Because
Yeah.
from my perception, I'm
Yeah.
like, yo, Commonwealth is fire. Like,
it is fire. You can get
all
with
those
Yeah,
places.
you
the
can get with
energy's
Nickelodeon. Like
different.
Yeah.
you really can. Hannah Montana soundtrack.
Yeah, it's cool. So I mean,
much more fun.
Yeah.
but it really is.
No one's in your face. Play this bottle service.
Yeah.
Yeah. You guys describe. Yeah.
I always call it grass is greener syndrome. I mean, you know why the grass is greener on the other side, right? Because you're not over there fucking it up.
Yeah.
Facts.
So-
or it's
'Cause
greener where you water it.
Yeah, it's you have exactly. So the thing is like you're going to go over that fresh grass to dance on it. It's going to get matted down, and then all of a sudden that other grass grew. So it's your perception. Like that's why like sometimes house is cool, big room's cool, then hip hop's cool, then dance hall is cool, and eventually it all just kind of blends together. So like as we get older, especially as consumers, not older DJs but older consumers, we love everything because we've been through so many eras. Like,
that's why I asked you these questions because you guys have maneuvered through the years
so
of DJing
when
and
I
the
go
eras
somewhere,
and
I want to hear
the
everything.
obstacles and shit.
Because I want to hear Afrojack and then I want to hear some Beanie Man. Like that's dope. Sean Paul, like, and then flip it back.
And the way you do it,
So that's a huge responsibility, and that's a huge amount of music to manage. And that's why I think open format DJs have never been in a higher stock value. And conveying your musical knowledge, whether it's through a mixtape or just taking another risk at a place that because you run a lot of parties and venues. Sometimes you got to break the mold and be the leader for something. Everybody else is in the comfort zone. Break the mold because you have the authority to do so. You are allowed to take the risk because it's your party, right?
Correct.
So you got to, if it doesn't work, don't beat yourself up, but just move on.
Yeah.
But versus somebody else that like may take a risk too long and then screw up your vibe, you could try it a little bit and get out because you have that IQ to do so because you're always at those parties.
Yeah.
So it really is, in a way, it's a cool responsibility because you can take a risk. And if it works, holy shit, we struck oil. Then we can go a whole new route to this party.
Yeah.
Boom. Okay, so that's great. So it's awesome, man. But guys, I can't believe it's been an hour already. For real? Like I know Joe Rogan goes for like 3 hours, but like I know we're all busy, guys, and and ladies, of course, and we want to seriously always want to thank you for coming on this podcast, Late Night Legends, and I hope to have you all back numerous times. It's like I think we have all amazing stories, so
Let's go.
I'm looking
have
forward
fun.
to the next episode. So thanks, guys, for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.
Late night legends, late night legends. Direct from Vegas, it's the late night legends. Late night legends, late night legends. Club killers, let's go. Late night legends. Late night legends. Direct from Vegas, the world famous Club Killers crew.